You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring.
Right. Where are we going?
Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of Fan Rank. I'm Mackenzie and this is Andrew. We're here today to reveal what you guys chose as the top 10 movie franchises of all time.
Since a franchise is any film series with more than 2 movies, there was a lot to choose from. But we think you guys made some pretty excellent choices.
Let's get into it.
Force is strong in this one.
Luke, trust me.
Number 10 is Mission Impossible.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to face your fate. Pursue us, you will be caught. Resist us, you will be killed. And your precious secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions.
Based on a popular spy TV show, this franchise has kept audiences enchanted with a simple formula. 1. Agents get impossible mission. 2. They go rogue. 3. They pull off a crazy stunt to get out of it. Speaking of crazy stunts, this franchise has kept topping its action set pieces. Every time they go on another mission, we're getting something we've never seen on screen before.
Yes, got it. That's the wrong door!
Tom Cruise is at the center of these impossible stunts, and he says he'll keep doing them until he's in his 80s. And I, for one, will keep showing up. Whether he's on a walker or doing a kickflip off a retirement home, I don't care. As long as he chooses to accept missions, I'm showing up to watch him with him.
Mission accomplished!
At number 9, we have Spider-Man.
Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
Hero or menace? This iconic franchise follows Peter Parker, a teenage superhero with spider-like abilities, as he balances school, family, girls, and protecting New York City from various unhinged supervillains. While, yes, there were technically made-for-TV Spider-Man movies before 2002, but the Sam Raimi films were the first to have a theatrical release, and given what these movies started, we can definitely call this the beginning of a real Spider-Man movie franchise.
The Amazing Spider-Man!
My name's the Human Spider.
I don't care, get out. No.
2002's Spider-Man redefined the modern superhero genre and marks the start of the superhero supersaturation that Hollywood has experienced in the decades that followed. We've got the Tobys, the Garfields, the Hollands/MCUs, and with the Spider-Verse cranking out some of the best animated films in recent memory, this franchise shows no signs of slowing down. After all, we are who we choose to be.
I love you guys. Thank you.
At number 8, we have Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Always knew someday you'd come walking back through my door. I never doubted that.
If adventure had a name, this franchise follows the thrilling quests of archaeologist Dr. Indiana Jones, who travels the globe to uncover ancient artifacts and battle the forces of evil. Far-off lands, mystical objects, and one of the most heroic musical scores of all time, this franchise and character are absolutely iconic.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
And while, yeah, some of the representations of other cultures in the earlier films are, shall we say, dated, but we can't deny the treasures that lie within this franchise and its widespread influence on a generation of filmmakers. For example, J.J. Abrams and Jon Favreau have both cited Indiana Jones as a major inspiration in their own heroic franchise films that blend action, adventure, and punchy humor. We might not get any more indie films, but this franchise has 1000% earned its spot on this list. Great choice, fans.
That belongs in a museum! So do you!
Number 7 is Pirates of the Caribbean.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
How did a theme park ride become a billion-dollar franchise? Well, it blended practical piracy with magical tales. Audiences love seeing plucky sailors face down ghosts, ghouls, and gigantic sea beasts. And above all, the franchise brought us lovable characters and show-stopping villains.
Do you feel this? Do you feel that dark abyss?
Although we did sail into choppy waters from time to time, this franchise kept generating a ton of gold and love. It is unclear where the next adventure will take place, or who will even wear the captain's hat. But one thing is for certain, this franchise will set sail again.
Drink up, me hearties, yo-ho.
At number 6, we have Back to the Future.
Next Saturday night, we're sending you back to the future.
Okay, all right. Saturday's good. Saturday's good. I can spend a week in 1955.
This classic franchise follows Marty McFly and kooky scientist Doc Brown as they travel through time in a DeLorean, altering events and navigating the consequences as they try to protect the past and their future. While the first film is considered one of the greatest movies ever made due to its unique premise, airtight screenplay, and the chemistry between Marty and Doc, name a more iconic duo, the sequels built on this foundation and continued exploring the complexities of time travel, family, and destiny.
Just sent you back to the future.
Yeah. Oh, I know. You did send me back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
The DeLorean, the flux capacitor, and iconic scenes like the lightning bolt and the clock tower have become cultural touchstones, and its perfect mix of heart, humor, and high stakes make this franchise timeless.
It means your future hasn't been written yet. No one's has. Your future is whatever you make it. So make it a good one.
Number 5 is James Bond. This undercover franchise is built on 6 007s, 25 films, and one iconic introduction.
I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Since 1953, audiences have seen Bond order tons of drinks, romance pretty much everyone, and use countless fancy gadgets and cars. He's also faced off against iconic supervillains that really forced him to use his license to kill. Speaking of, his franchise never says die.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Anytime it seems like the movie series will end, it gets back in the game with a new entry that takes cues from contemporary action films while remaining true to itself. Shake up Bond as many times as you want. He'll always stir up excitement.
Are you ready to get back to work?
With pleasure, M.
Number 4 is the MCU.
Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet.
Who the hell are you?
When Robert Downey Jr. first said that he was Iron Man, he had no idea that those words would launch something massive. His 2008 film became the cornerstone of an interconnected universe that has 33 films and counting. The MCU has delivered space operas, magical adventures, and epic wars for thrones. We've also gotten some seriously ambitious crossovers.
They're not stopping.
Neither are we.
All that hard work has led to $10 billion films. Avengers Endgame was even the highest grossing film of all time at one point. After setting multiple milestones and kicking off a bunch of superhero trends, the MCU isn't done yet. Whatever happens in the future, fans will still remember the epic moments from the past that made their hearts soar higher than the superheroes do.
Avengers!
Assemble.
At number 3, we have Harry Potter.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
A wizard. And a thumping good one, I'd wager, once you trade up a little.
Based on the best-selling book series in history, the Harry Potter franchise follows a young wizard and his friends as they grow up and battle evil forces, uncovering the power of friendship and courage along the way. The films benefit from the incredibly detailed world building of the books, and over the course of 8 movies, we watch Harry, Ron, and Hermione grow from kids into adults.
Why is it, when something happens, it is always you three?
Believe me, Professor, I've been asking myself the same question for 6 years.
And this franchise captured the hearts and minds of a generation of Muggles who grew up right alongside them. Not to mention the outstanding performances by iconic British actors like Maggie Smith and Alan Rickman, and the insane scale of these productions. While the Fantastic Beasts spin-offs might not be everyone's cup of butterbeer, we can't deny that this franchise is a cultural phenomenon. Great pick, fans.
Gryffindor wins the House Cup.
Number 2 is Star Wars.
This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
If you search your feelings, you'll see why fans voted the series to be at number 2. In 1977, audiences were taken to a galaxy far, far away to witness the birth of a new superstar franchise. Generations later, new fans are still being drawn into the space opera. Maybe it's because it has one of the greatest villains in movie history.
You are beaten. It is useless to resist. Don't let yourself be destroyed as Obi-Wan did.
But personally, I think that through all the cinematic ups and downs, underneath all the midichlorians and clones, audiences love to see a ragtag group of robots, aliens, and humans stand against oppression and villainy. 47 years after its unforgettable debut, the Force is still with this franchise.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Now, before we reveal what you guys chose as the #1 movie franchise of all time, we've got some honorable mentions we want to throw your way, some films that didn't quite make the cut but still deserve to be on this list. Andrew, take it away. What's your first pick?
It's gotta be Shrek. I love that so many of you voted for Shrek. You know, it's this loving homage and parody of the fairy tales we grew up with that reminds us it's okay to be a little weird. And thanks to all the successful spin-offs and the sequels, we're gonna keep peeling back layers of this onion-shaped franchise for years to come.
Onions have layers? You get it. We both have layers.
So that's where I'm starting. Where are you headed?
Well said indeed. To be honest, I'm really surprised that we haven't seen any horror franchises yet on this list. I feel like of all genres of film, this one kind of lends itself the best maybe to franchising. So I want to give a shout out to Alien, Scream, Friday the 13th, The Conjuring, Halloween, and all those others that didn't make the cut. I see you. And thank you to everyone who voted for those guys. Andrew, what about anything else?
I have to do Godzilla too. I mean, this little kaiju that could has been around for 70 years. It keeps getting bigger, it keeps reinventing itself, and I think it's the only franchise that gets away with having multiple versions of Godzilla at once. Like, the same year Godzilla fought Kong, we got a really timely metaphor about World War II in -1. It's incredible. So I think this franchise is going to keep roaring for decades to come, but I wanted to give it its own shout out here.
Well said. Should we see what the fans chose for our #1 spot?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
Good thing he's on our side.
For now.
At #1, we have Lord of the Rings.
One ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all. And in the darkness, find them.
Yes, one franchise to rule them all. So where to begin? Okay, well, The Lord of the Rings follows, of course, the epic quest of Frodo and the Fellowship to destroy the One Ring and evil itself amidst the vast and dangerous landscapes of Middle-earth. Now, unlike other franchises who changed directors throughout their run, the entire Lord of the Rings franchise was directed by Peter Jackson, giving the series a super consistent energy and vision. The franchise earned 30 Oscar nominations with 17 wins, including Best Picture for Return of the King, and the scale of these epics is insane.
This day we fight! By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand! Men of the West!
Jackson opted for a style that leans more historical epic than magical romp, and that lends a really powerful authenticity to this otherworldly story. Not to mention the groundbreaking special effects and motion capture technology that absolutely changed the game. Say what you want about the Hobbit series or Rings of Power, but this franchise's future is looking bright. We're super excited to see new entries into the series, including Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, which will be directed by the one and only Andy Serkis, with Peter Jackson producing. Needless to say, the original trilogy has cemented itself in movie history, but The Precious has yet more to give.
And The Lord of the Rings by Frodo Baggins. You finished it. Not quite. There's room for a little more.
Thank you everyone for all your votes and your comments. We literally couldn't do this video without you. And speaking of comments, get down there, tell us, did we get it right? What would your top 10 be? Should we have included Fast and the Furious? Let us all know your thoughts in the comments.
And be sure to keep your eye on our socials for future fan rank announcements so you can have your voice heard. Thank you guys again for participating. You are the best, and we'll see you next time.
My friends.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.